Although everyone hopes a wedding will be filled with exciting moments, the celebration can feel dull and unoriginal if the couple follows too many traditions that don't seem right for them or their guests. Do you have to follow traditions? Do you have to say your vows? Do you have to give out favors? The answer to those questions and more. Welcome certified wedding planner, Simone Sophie Walker.
Hi, I'm Simone Sophie Walker, owner of Completely Bridal, a one-stop shop wedding and design company specializing in all things sophisticated and wedding planning globally. I also run the Completely Bridal Wedding Planning Tips, Tricks, and To-Dos Facebook community with over 200,000 followers. By the time this edition is over, you'll know which wedding traditions to keep and which ones to ditch.
Listen now and discover Wedding Insider secrets for a stress-free, fun, and memorable day. Our podcast helps engaged couples navigate wedding planning complexities while addressing family expectation. Get concise tips on budgeting, wedding party management, ceremony, reception planning, and much more. Perfect for anyone planning a wedding, all in 30 minutes or less.
Welcome to Stress-Free Wedding Planning, the podcast that will transform your wedding planning journey from chaotic to enchanting. Sal and Sam bring over 80 years of combined wedding expertise and exclusive insider information to the table. If you're recently engaged, feeling the pressure of wedding planning, struggling with family expectations, but still dreaming of a joy-filled wedding, you've come to the right place. Get ready to unveil the best-kept wedding secrets, discover practical tips and strategies, and learn life-changing lessons for a stress-free wedding. Your unforgettable wedding day awaits. We're here to take you on a transformative journey of love, laughter, and memories. So don't miss out on the podcast that just might change your life. This is the Stress-Free Wedding Planning Podcast with Sal and Sam.
Hi, I'm Sal of After Hours Events in New England. I've performed at thousands of weddings in my 40 years as a professional MC DJ. Weddings are my passion.
Hi, I'm Sam from Atmosphere Productions. With decades of DJ experience dating back to the mid-70s, I've rocked the airwaves, pumped up nightclubs, and made thousands of weddings unforgettable.
This is the Stress-Free Wedding Planning Podcast with Sal and Sam.
Learn more about our experience and journey to help you with a stress-free wedding planning in the trailer or pilot of this podcast. In today's edition, Wedding Traditions Couples Should Stop Doing is brought to you in part by Clear Vision Productions and the Wedding Styles of Connecticut Wedding Shows. But first, if you have a question or concern, go now to Facebook and join us on the Stress-Free Wedding Planning community and ask away.
You're listening to the Stress-Free Wedding Planning Podcast.
Welcome back, Sophie.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for joining us by phone. We really appreciate it.
Absolutely. My pleasure.
You were here last time, and we were talking about social media. We really do appreciate it. Are you ready?
Yes, I am.
Okay, here's the big question. What is the number one wedding tradition couples should stop doing?
Oh my goodness. The number one wedding tradition that I think they should get rid of is the garter toy. The garter toys and the garter retrieval. Oh my goodness. Please just get rid of it. It's so raunchy.
So just to explain, if you're just got engaged and you're wondering what on earth the garter experience is, typically at a wedding, the bride tosses her bouquet and then the groom tosses his garter. But before all of that, it has to be taken off. So the bride would sit in a chair and the groom would put his hand up her dress and remove this garter. I agree totally, Sophie. Sal, I think you're on the same page with me. This is a tradition that's long outstayed its welcome.
Bye-bye. Yes. Oh, absolutely. Every couple I talk to who brings this thing up, I'm like, no. You know how you said you wanted your wedding to be elegant? You just went in a total opposite direction.
Thank you. Bon voyage. Get it out of here, please, and thank you.
I'm right by your side on this one.
For all our couples getting married, they want to have their wedding filled with exciting moments and celebrate their togetherness with traditions. What typically happens, though, is that a lot of couples do too many traditions because they feel that they have to do these traditions. This edition is going to be all about you now. We're going to tell you some traditions that you'll probably think is normal, but believe it or not, you do not have to do these things. So, Sophie, we've come up with like 5 or 6 that we're going to discuss with you. The first one, I'll take, Sal, and that's the couple not seeing each other before the wedding. Now, this is a tradition that goes way, way back centuries because the groom never saw the bride that he was marrying because the wedding was arranged. So the couple did not see each other until the bride walked down the aisle, literally, and the veil was removed from her face. That's when the groom suddenly saw his bride. Why this tradition has stuck around for so long, I don't know.
Which is why I'm highly excited to explain what a first look is.
Go ahead.
It's the biggest trend at the current moment since 2021 to have a first look with your grooms to eliminate that little, those wedding jitters. If you just calmly see your partner by yourself, it calms that jitters. So you want to see that person before walking down the aisle because other people and people in your wedding party might be just as agitating as your wedding guest. So maybe seeing your partner is very much important before going down the aisle. I think that tradition of walking down the aisle has been a little bit more on the vintage side. So our vintage brides, the ones that want to keep those traditions, people that are adamant on listening to what their family members are telling them what to do, those are the individuals that are following those traditions. But I am happy to say that a lot of our modern couples are opting in for first look, which I do believe is very healthy. So that way you can have like that moment with your person and maybe you can share your vows privately. You don't have to share them in front of everyone because not everything needs to be shared with everyone, if that makes sense.
I can't agree with you more. I share with every couple how the first look is like one of the greatest things that have ever happened to the wedding industry. And I also say to them, look, what happens is you start to relax more now. The shoulders come down. You're not so tense. You're now having pictures with your significant other and then your wedding party. When you get to the ceremony, you're actually going to remember more of it too because you're more relaxed. That whole fashioned way of being on one side of the aisle to the other, I'm a wedding officiant. I've watched what the guy is doing on the other side. He is so nervous and she's trying not to trip down the aisle. No one sees no one from down that aisle. Okay, so first look all the way. So I have another question for you talking about the aisle. The bride has walked down the aisle with her father only, and the groom has walked down the aisle by himself. This is something that needs to go away. There's other ways to do this, and please share with us your thoughts.
Oh my goodness. Okay, so walking down the aisle, what I would love to see in the future is the bride and groom walking down the aisle together. So I don't want to just make it seem like a bride is the only one walking down the aisle because sometimes we do have other individuals who walk down the aisle as well. And not everyone has that fatherly experience. Like, I didn't grow up with my father in my household, so when I do plan to get married, I'm pretty sure he won't be walking me down the aisle. However, I'm perfectly fine with walking myself down the aisle. I'm also okay with the groom having his own grand entrance. Why can't he have his own song,
No, so true. So true.
Listen, there's so many different ways to implement having your dream wedding experience. So maybe not having anyone walk you down the aisle might be the best way to have your moment of shine. Sometimes we think we have to have somebody give us away when all they have to do is find their seat and they can stand up and still give you away. They don't have to have that moment coming down the aisle because sometimes it just makes it a little bit more stressful trying to figure out all of the details when all of the details need to be surrounded around you.
Thank you, Simone. That clarifies that perfectly. And just to give you my experience, so my daughter got married back at the end of April, and I was adamant that I didn't want to just walk down the aisle with her. I was adamant that my wife should come too. So that's what we did. Both of us, because she's an only child, both of us raised her. Why should I get the only honor to walk her down the aisle? So that's exactly what we did. All three of us walked down the aisle, and it was a tear-jerking moment for me.
I believe it because, listen, I'm crying. A tear just flew down my eye for sure. Like, wow, that sounds like a sweet gesture. I like that a lot.
Yep, that's it. Now, another one is the sharing of vows. This does not have to be done. You do not have to share your vows at the ceremony. There is nothing legal about saying vows. So if you personally don't want to do it, then don't do it. I'm going to toss it over to Sal because he's an officiant. Do you agree with me, sir?
Oh, absolutely. And I'm seeing it more often now, too, where people, these couples are doing it prior to the ceremony or just after the ceremony, just sharing their own vows. We still have to take care of the legality stuff during the ceremony, but that is not part of it. It is not needed to make it a legal marriage.
Sophie, what are your thoughts?
Okay, so being that I've been planning weddings for so long, what I've learned is that couples, especially our modern couples, especially those millennial couples, what they're choosing to do, because we are very private individuals. We don't want anyone in our business, but we are the biggest people on social media and telling everybody our business. However, what I've noticed is that during that first look, that's when a lot of them do their vows, and that's what creates more time after the ceremony to have a longer cocktail hour or to have a longer reception, which saves them a lot of money and a lot of time as well. And then what a lot of them have also been doing is during that get ready moment, they've been writing each other letters, writing each other in like their vow books. And what they'll do is they'll switch their books, and while bride or the groom is getting ready, they'll be reading the vows. And by the time that they have their first look, it's like, we don't even have to talk about anything. I just want to be in your space and feel safe before we walk down the aisle.
That is pretty awesome. I love that. Love that. Okay, so Sophie, let's talk about making cocktail hour longer than an hour and, kind of enjoying that time and being part of the cocktail yourself as a couple. How do you feel about that?
I highly don't suggest making cocktail hour longer than an hour, especially if it's an open bar. That is dangerous. Simply because cocktail hour sometimes is a little bit more fun than the reception because everyone is just so adamant on trying everything, especially if you have like a full smorgasbord full of food and drinks. It's unlimited. And people don't realize that they have a whole 4 hours left of a party to get to. So during that cocktail hour, you see people with like 2 drinks in their hand sometimes. And it's like, wait a minute, let me get one of those because you don't need all of that because you're going to have more when you get to the reception. I highly don't ever suggest making cocktail hour more than an hour. What I do suggest for couples that do want to enjoy bits and pieces of their cocktail hour is making sure that your wedding day itinerary is set for photos. So you have like that implementation before the ceremony. So you take all of the family portraits. That's why you get that first look out of the way. So when you see your family members, get all the photos done so you can at least take a few extra photos for like maybe 15, 30 minutes. And you can enjoy the last 30 minutes or 15 minutes of your cocktail hour. And I want couples to remember, if you're choosing a venue that's full service, for the most part, they will send a lot of food like for you and your wedding party inside your bridal suite if your reception venue has a bridal suite. So you don't ever have to literally attend the cocktail hour because maybe you might just want to have some time with just your wedding party after having such a stressful day and then meeting everyone during the reception after you already had your first dance. And, things of that nature, because you just want to have a moment to yourself sometimes. I don't think couples understand how rigorous that wedding day is. Wedding planning is stressful, but the wedding day is like, whoa, we're finally here. What do I do? It's just about like making sure you eat throughout the day. No cocktail hour longer than an hour, simply because you're going to be drinking throughout the day. And brides and grooms can tell me that they're not. I've seen them firsthand. They start early in the morning with champagne shot. So cocktail hour, if you're staying for the cocktails, I don't think you're going to ever make it to the reception. And when you spend that much money, you want to get your money's worth.
Well, Simone, I'm going to suggest that every couple from here on in don't even bother have a cocktail hour.
Ooh, that's the one.
I think we should just go straight into the introductions and then do toasts, speeches, dinner, and then party for an extra hour. What do you think of that?
I think that's really smart. And it's feasible because sometimes you're paying for that extra cocktail hour with extra food and when it could just be implemented into the reception. That's a really great idea.
You're actually paying extra for your cocktail hour when you don't need to. Why don't you just get straight to the food? Save yourself some money. But hey, nobody's going to listen to me anyway. I'm just on a podcast.
That's all we do. We're just wedding professionals. That's it.
And the facilities are hoping he'll take his advice either.
Yeah. So we're talking with Simone Sophie Walker. She's on the phone with us from the great city of. Are you actually in New York City? Or
I am in New York City based. From Brooklyn, New York.
Hey, good to hear you. So we're talking on the phone. She owns Completely Bridal, and she also runs the Completely Bridal Wedding Planning Tips, Tricks, and To-Dos Facebook community. We're going to take a short break, and when we come back, we're going to talk about stuff that you might not want to do at the reception.
This is the Stress-Free Wedding Planning Podcast with Sal and Sam, a podcast for engaged couples concerned about wedding planning and family expectations, but who want to have a stress-free, fun, and unforgettable wedding.
Wedding Tip Wednesday is brought to you by Emerge Cosmetics. Are you ready to emerge? Our line of lipsticks, lip glosses, and mascaras was created to empower and become who you truly are. Strong, beautiful, and confident. Use the coupon code SF1 at emergecosmetics.com for an instant 10% off. That's coupon code SF1 at emergecosmetics.com. Emerge is the true you.
On today's Wedding Tip Wednesday, wedding bank account. Set up a wedding savings account before you start planning. It'll help you stick to your budget and track your expenses. Remember, starting your married life in debt is not ideal. You definitely want to make sure you keep money separate so you never, ever run short in your main account for your normal bills too.
And this is a great way of breaking up the expenses. You know what's going to be coming in, and you know if you're going to go over budget. It's just a simple checking or savings account that you can transfer money in, transfer money out. Set up that wedding bank account. Trust me, it will save you a lot of headaches. And that's another tip from Sal and Sam.
Wedding Tip Wednesday is available on the Stress-Free Wedding Planning Facebook group page every Wednesday. Join the group for free.
Does your current marketing program leave you feeling frustrated, overwhelmed, and confused? Are you getting the results you want or need out of your current marketing strategy? Do you need help but don't know where to turn? theclearvisionagency.com. Let the wedding marketing strategists at the Clear Vision Agency launch your brand to success and take that dreaded feeling of working on your marketing away. theclearvisionagency.com. Whether you need a few minor changes or a whole new plan, we can create a clear vision and show you the way. Take the first step and request a free digital audit. Just go to our website, theclearvisionagency.com.
Don't know what to do for your first dance? Is your future spouse having trouble picking a song to dance with their parent? Worry no more. I have the answer. Go to afterhoursevents.com/contact guest. That is CONTACTGUEST. And you'll be able to listen to hours of music to help you select the right songs for your upcoming wedding. Again, go to afterhoursevents.com/contact guest.
Do you want access to a stress-free wedding planning process? Then go to our website, allthews.atmosphere-productions.com, and get my free report. 8 questions you must ask a wedding professional before booking them. Get it today. That's allthews.atmosphere-productions.com. Look for the free report and learn to shop like a pro from a pro and go from concern and worry to stress-free wedding planning.
Hi, I'm Samantha. I'm getting married next October, and I listen every week to the Stress-Free Wedding Planning Podcast with Sal and Sam. You can listen and download online from iTunes, Google, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts.
And now back to the Stress-Free Wedding Planning Podcast.
Once again, thank you for coming back, Sophie, and talking with us. We've discussed forcing yourself to share vows. You don't want to do that if you don't want to. Making cocktail hour longer, or as I suggested, just dispense with it all. So let's talk about some of the big things that happen at the reception. And one of the big things, Sophie, is the first dance. What are your thoughts about not even having a first dance?
Well, what I can say is maybe opt out of all of the other dances, but you guys should definitely have a special moment where, you're highlighting your love, maybe your favorite song. You welcome people into your relationship. Because sometimes when you have a first dance, a lot of couples do maybe a song that their parents love. Some people do like hip hop dances that they really enjoy, or they do cultural dances. But I think the first dance is a very special way to just gaze into your partner's eyes, tell them you love them, show the rest of the world what it's really hitting for, And I just think it's a great way for people to just be in awe of your relationship and of your love.
Great. Very well said. Thank you so much. At many weddings, the reception is formally kicked off when the couple has their first dance. And again, it depends on the area in which you're having your wedding. Some have a little different style after the first dance. Some go right into the party. Some couples have been leading towards the tradition of taking dance lessons and practicing, but others completely dread the fanfare. What is your feeling on that?
Okay, it really depends on the couple. I can honestly say that if you're a more free-for-all couple, more extroverted, you're going to wing your dance, you're going to have fun because you're probably on the dance floor at every family function at the end of the day. However, if you're more of that introverted couple who doesn't really go out to dances or out to party, but you want to have that spectacular special moment, I do highly suggest splurging on maybe a dance class so that way you guys can finally have that one moment. Maybe that be the one dance that you do at every event that you go to. Because maybe you just won't get on the dance floor, but that's your specific dance. If you feel like you can get on the dance floor, drop it like it's hot, have a waltz by yourself, do a nice elegant dance, do your thing. However, if you feel like a little apprehensive on doing a dance, but you know that it's something that you want to do, you can hire someone locally that can help you find out different tips, tricks, and to-dos to make you more comfortable on the dance floor. Or they can just show you a really nice, elegant, or fun dance routine that you can do at your wedding. And trust me, you'll be doing that for a lifetime.
That's great information. Now, we had on another edition, just to follow up on the first dance, for couples that are really shy and they don't want to do a first dance. Well, you don't have to make a big deal about it. What we suggested previously was have the DJ invite the couple to the dance floor. And then after about 30 seconds, invite everybody else to join you. That way you're not stuck out there for 4 or 5 minutes being terrified about being all alone. You've probably seen that, Simone.
Yes, I think that's a really great, amazing idea as well. People aren't just sitting around staring at you, making you feel a little uncomfortable. It's like, okay, we did our thing. Now let's go. Let's have fun. This is what we paid for. We paid to have fun. Let's go.
That's what it's all about. So we're talking with Simone Sophie Walker from Completely Bridal. Give us your social media there for us, please.
Well, our website is www.completelybridal.com, which we wish that you guys subscribe to for free wedding planning tips, tricks, and to-do. However, on Instagram and Facebook and Pinterest, we are at Completely Bridal.
Great. So one more thing that wedding tradition that couples should stop doing is giving out party favors. Now, before I have you two jump in, I hate party favors. I hate party favors. Ever since back to the days when they used to hand out matchbooks at weddings, I had hated party favors. So I'm going to put my hand up and say, definitely, please stop doing this. Simone?
Okay. I'm the girl or the woman that goes to events looking for the favor. I love a good favor because one, especially if it's a wedding that we plan here at Completely Bridal, I want to keep something that reminds us of your special moment. If you have something that's edible, I think those are the best favors that you can have because people are definitely going to use them and they're not going to leave them hanging on the favor table. So if you want to do like some chocolates, some candies, even a midnight snack, I think midnight snacks are my favorite. So like cookies and like a nice personalized bag. Who's not leaving an event with a cookie? Having like a nice edible favor is really great. Yeah, I can agree with you. Knocking out the favors can definitely save tons of money, tons of energy as well. And just implementing maybe an edible favor instead of having those, trinkets. Those are the ones that I don't necessarily look forward to. I do definitely look forward to the edible favors because I want to keep maybe like the bag or the sticker and put it somewhere so that way I can remember the night.
Gotta love food. But I'm not a big favor fan personally. And the food idea is a great idea. It really is. But if you're going to do a favor, one of my favorite things is to have a photo booth so people have pictures of themselves having fun at your wedding and they get to keep these pictures.
That is the smartest thing I've heard because I don't know why I didn't think of that because that's really a great way to implement it because a lot of our modern couples have been doing that. implementing like the 360 photo booth, or even implementing photo booths on the iPad where you can take a photo and it prints it out instantly. And then the couple also gets like the reel of all of the photos that was taken. So that way they have all of the individuals that went to the wedding. So if they didn't get any professional photos from the photographer, they still have these photos from the photo booth. So that is a great idea, Sal.
Thank you.
Please don't encourage him. Please. He doesn't need any more encouragement.
Got it. It's the confidence for me. I love it.
All right. So it's basically 2 against 1 because we don't have to all agree because this is somebody else's wedding. We're just trying to give you suggestions. So some people like favors, some people don't. That's the way we're going to leave it.
Okay, so we're going to go back to something we talked about once before with you, Sophie, and we talked about the garter part of things, and the retrieval and the throwing. But now let's talk about the tossing of the bouquet. What are your feelings about that?
I think that's another tradition that we can kind of like get out of the window. But I do think that it's very, very prevalent to the time because we want our ladies and ladies who do wish to get married feel as if, like, remember the idea of why they're tossing the garter. The individual that's catching should be up next. So that idea, I do love the idea of having that in your head. Like, oh my goodness, I'm up next. However, that's not necessarily the truth because sometimes expectations go a little further than what we're really going to be getting. So maybe we can do something else. But what I have implemented in some of my weddings that I've planned is having like the bride give away their bouquet to the oldest married woman in the room. So that way she still feels the love. So say supposing your grandmother has been married for 50 plus years, if you have 1 to 3 different individuals, you can ask them their wedding date, and then you can give that bouquet to that individual who's been married the longest.
Yep, that's something we call the anniversary celebration dance, which is very, very, very popular. The key thing that I have a problem with tossing the bouquet is that nowadays there are so few single ladies to toss the bouquet to that most of my couples don't even bother want to do it because they don't want to embarrass the single lady that's still single.
Let's be honest, too. A lot of the single ladies that are there don't even know what that whole thing's about anymore. At least in our area, I'm finding that most of these women do not even know why you even toss the bouquet. What does it even mean? What are we supposed to do? I find myself having to explain it anytime we have to do it because they're just not clear.
Okay, so it sounds like in our Facebook community, we need to start talking about some wedding guest tips, tricks, and to-dos as well. So that way they know what to look forward to and what to do.
There you go.
I think it's a generational thing. There was a time when everybody did the bouquet and garter and the toss and everything. Yep. And then for a time, nobody was doing it. Mm-hmm. It seems to be a little bit in the middle ground at the moment. But, there's other things that you could do. Sophie mentioned there's loads of other stuff that you can do that you don't have to toss the bouquet. So you don't have to feel that tradition is something that you have to do.
No, not at all. You can find different ways to implement your personality into your wedding experience. Some brides don't even have bouquets. It's just figuring out what works best for you, works best for your budget, and what works for your wedding style. And not just for you, but both you and your partner.
I totally agree. Simone, it was wonderful speaking with you again. You are fantastic. If anybody is looking for a wedding planner, now you're global. You're not just in NYC.
No, we're based in New York City. However, we are globally based to be able to assist anybody who is planning their wedding, whether it's in the United States or internationally.
I got to ask you this since you said that. What's the most exotic place that you've done a wedding?
Well, right now we're currently planning a wedding in Paris, France. We're also creating a honeymoon experience in Santorini, Greece. Our best one yet is someone's planning a wedding in Dubai, and I'm so excited because I think that's going to be so extravagant. I can just see all the colors, all the culture exuding from this experience, and I'm just so excited to see it pan out and see exactly what their vision turns out to be like. I hope their wedding dreams turn into a reality.
If you're looking for 2 DJs, one called Sal, one called Sam, we can go to Dubai anytime.
Well, first and foremost, we already connected. We have a lovely relationship at this point. Do you guys think I won't be turning to you guys at any point in time? I got you guys on speed dial at this point. Like, hello, how you doing? It's me.
Oh, yeah.
So, Simone, let's wrap this up then, and give us your social media to wrap up this little chat.
Okay, so for a wrap up, it was a pleasure to chat with you guys. Remember to subscribe to www.completelybridal.com and follow us at Completely Bridal on Instagram, Facebook, and Pinterest.
Thank you, Sophie. We really appreciate it.
You guys are amazing. Please let me know if you guys need anything from Completely Bridal, and we will be happy to assist you.
Greatly appreciated. Thank you. Have a great one.
Bye, guys.
This is the Stress-Free Wedding Planning Podcast with Sal and Sam.
Now, as you spend the next week planning your wedding, if you want me, Sal, or our community of stress-free engaged couples and wedding experts to answer any wedding-related questions, then join us in the Stress-Free Wedding Planning Facebook group.
Once you're in, go ahead and share your concerns and worries, and we'll let you know if you're on the right track or if there are some things you need to work on. The link to join us is in the show notes of this edition, or go to Facebook and search for the Stress-Free Wedding Planning Community.
Remember to do something nice for someone today. And if you can't, then do something nice for yourself. If you've enjoyed what you've just heard, leave a review and share it with a friend or someone who would benefit from this information. Until next time, it's TTFN. Ta-ta for now.
Thank you for listening to this edition. A new edition is released every Wednesday. Subscribe and get it first. We'll catch you then. Ciao.
The Stress-Free Wedding Planning Podcast is produced and copyrighted by Atmosphere Productions in association with After Hours Events of New England.
Sponsored in part by Clear Vision Productions and the Wedding Styles of Connecticut Wedding Show Series.